What's good, 7th family? Welcome back to another episode of 10 Minutes with Leezy. Leezy, that's me, your boy, better known as Leon Anderson. Now, before we get started, again, I need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. Last time I told y'all to share. This time I'm gonna tell y'all to comment and share. So like, share, comment, subscribe. We appreciate everybody who tuned in to the first episode. I appreciate all the feedback. I'm so happy to hear how it inspired you and encouraged you. And we gonna keep this train going. Like I said, man, we gonna get better. We gonna keep working out new things. So I appreciate y'all taking this journey with me. All right, so if you've been following me on Instagram, if you're not, you can follow me here at I am Leon Anderson. Hit that follow button, and then you'll get all of the updates. But if you have been following me, then again, you know that I just dropped a new album titled Bold. And today, we're going to be talking about another record off of that album. We're going to go through all the records through this here series. So I encourage you to go stream it, go download it, go purchase it. However you do what you do with your music. Go ahead and get that and let it bless your life. Again, it's called Bold. Today, we'll be breaking down another favorite record off of the album. We just happen to be going in order by the track list right now, too. But this record is called Troubled Water. Now, when I first heard the instrumental for Troubled Water, I knew this was a record that we could not play with. And it's a testimony to how God can nudge you, how he could inspire you, how he could deposit something in your spirit anywhere you are. Because truthfully, the first 8 bars in this record, I wrote them as I was actually taking a walk on a trail near my crib. So it's not always about being fruitful in the studio. Sometimes God will deposit that word when you in the shower, when you driving in your car, or in my case, when you doing your miles walking on a certain trail near your crib. So I encourage you to always be in a place to receive the word that God is trying to deposit in your life, because that word just might change your life. And when I say being in a place to receive it, understand that I got this word while I was walking on a trail near my house. So it's not about the location of it, but more so about the posture, the place, tuning your ear to his voice. That's what I mean by being in a place to receive the word that God is trying to deposit into your life. So back to the record, I was inspired, man, to remind people that, hey, you could be Christian and creative. I always tell people this, according to Genesis, and note that I'm not going in order. I'm just giving you a bit of context. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created the seas. He created the fowl of the air. He created men. Then from men took the rib out of men and created women. We could stop right there. All of that was creation. So when you break that down, how can you ever say that Christians, which is to be Christ-like, which is to be followers of Christ? Who is Christ? Jesus. Who is Jesus? The Son of God. All of us are created in his image and his likeness, which means we are a piece of him. Creativity already resides in you. So to say that you can't be Christian and creative, it's kind of blasphemy, to be honest. I mean, your DNA literally lies within creativity. So I always try to show people and tell people, look, how you tap into that creativity is another thing. But creative and Christian goes hand in hand, because our Father, who is the maker, created all of these things that we enjoy, that we see, that we experience in earth, and the things that we will experience in heaven. So creativity is in your DNA. No Kendrick Lamar. So with that being said, it was pure intention to give creativity, and then in the second verse, give you honesty, give you transparency, and give you perspective of the things that I see on a day-to-day basis that I felt needed to be addressed. So with that, we go into one of my favorite portions of this segment, breaking down the lyrics. Now look, I don't know where I want to start with this one. We just gonna start right here from the beginning. Who else gonna give you the truth over these loops? Now I stop right there. There has been a huge debate in theology type of rap versus vibe type of rap. And the vibe being the thing that brings the kids to listening to the new Christian hip hop. Now I'm not gonna say that I disagree, but I will say that the Bible instructs us to train up a child in the way that they should go. I think that there can be a better blend of theological with the vibe that allows it to be attractive, because as they're jumping to these records at whatever show, whatever festival is going on, and I'm just being honest and transparent, that's good for 17. But like I said in the last record of the project Bold, Truth in LA, and I'm just being honest, 17 storms are way different than 25. And what that means is those records that made them jump at 17, the storms that will come in their life, because we know, according to John 16:33, there will be some trouble in these days that we walk through. We're going to have to go through some trials and some tribulations, whether it's to grow our character, whether it's to give us different perspective, whether it's to give us patience, whether it's to allow us to trust God more. There's going to be some storms that we face. And those records that had them jump at 17, we also want those records to speak to their lives at 25. So I say to be very cautious about the music that we are creating, because it is a responsibility for you to minister back that word. It is a responsibility for you as you get on a microphone, whether you like it or not, if you're called in this space, to be able to usher people back to God. And so it's very important that we look at it. Now, I know some things that I do are not for other people. Some things that people do is not for me. And I will always say that I have appreciation even if I don't have association. And that's just how this kind of lyric came up. Again, I would say it's always respect. I always have appreciation, even if I don't have association. And I will leave that right there. So the lyric is, who else gonna give youth the truth over these loops? It's cool. I got a few if y'all need to go and regroup. Hope you reintroduce the power held to rebuke. You refute, then understand many called, but chosen few. And it's not to question and challenge if you're chosen and called. That's not my responsibility. That's not my judgment. That would be a bad character for me to sit here and say who's called and who's not called. God does things in a unique way that our thoughts are not his thoughts. Our ways are not his ways. So it's not our position to say who is called and who is not to call. But I will say the responsibility that we have, my prayer would be that it will be guiding in a way that will always lead them back to Christ, and not just in a small portion, but in a portion of something that they can hold on to as they continue to grow, not just in life, but also grow in Christ. So for the verse, because that was just the hook. We didn't got through that. That's just the hook. So for the verse, now who in the number? Of course, final number, Revelation. Go read it. Now, who in the number? Enough in my full armor to get a demon sundered. This got the enemy looking like a JR blunder. All of us remember, hey, JR Bron on the Cavaliers in the finals. JR kind of went, hey, MIA. Didn't know where he was at. He had a full blunder in a very important game. So that's what I mean by got the enemy looking like a JR blunder. You might be a Cavalier, but a T around your neck. I'm talking about a T, but here comes the double entendre, Tiana Taylor. But a T around your neck don't make you a Shumpert, because we going back to relating to the Cavaliers. So I say it again. Got the enemy looking like a JR blunder. You might be a Cavalier, but a T around your neck don't make you a Shumpert. Word from the shepherd. Yeah, I'm feeling above the rim. Now we talking about Thomas Shepard in the movie Above the Rim, Dwayne Martin, Tupac Shakur. We letting the hoops and the creativity keep working out. The law ain't 5-0 is surely the written 10. Talking about the law is not the police, even though that is the laws that you are governed by the government. But the laws that we adhere to as well is what I say next. The law ain't 5-0 is surely the written 10. You know the ones y'all blend and bend, try to defend, then turn it into a trend for the benefit of your pen. So we talking about more so it's given a challenge of, are we living by what it is that we're writing? Are we living by what it is that we're reciting? So that's where those bars come in. Now, we know about the story in John chapter 5 of the lame man who laid by the pool in Bethesda, and Jesus asked him, would he like to be well? And the man came with many different excuses of why he was not well yet. And Jesus told him, pick up your mat and walk. And instantly the man was healed. So that's why I called the record Troubled Water. For us to be encouraged to go forth and get in the pool, no matter what it is that's going on around the pool. Know that in the pool, there is healing. Know that in the pool, there is transformation. Know that in the pool, there is quenching for your thirst. There's things that are in the pool that if you just jump in, you will have what you need to make it to your next season. So jump on in that water. That is why this record is called Troubled water. All right, y'all, we nearing that 10-minute mark again. I be having to go back to my phone to make sure I don't miss nothing and make sure I don't miss the questions that you guys have been asking me. If you would like to ask questions and you have not and you want them answered right here in this segment, please follow me on Instagram at I am Leon Anderson. Feel free to ask anything about the ministry, about the artistry, about what it is and how it is that I do what I do, that God has called me to do. And man, I'll share it right here with you guys. Again, we don't believe in no gatekeeping over here. We're going to give all the encouragement, all the information that we can give and we can share for the benefit of you continuing to do what you believe God has called you to do. So the question from one of our followers today is, how do you stay authentic to your sound and your creativity? That is a very good question, man. That's a very good question. For me, I stay authentic and true to my sound by, number one, not comparing what it is that God has called me to do to something that somebody else is doing. I think a lot of times, you know, in this space particularly, well, any space really, any field in the world actually, that a lot of people tend to compare to what it is that they see, and they compare based on what it is they have, what level they've reached, or what level they haven't reached, and what it is that they don't have. I make it a habit of mine to make sure that I'm more in tune with what it is that God has given me and what it is he has called me to do than I am with somebody else's. Knowing that I was called specifically for this season, know that I was called specifically to do a specific thing. Knowing those things keep you on your toes, it keep you in your bag, it keeps you being able to operate and pull from a well that everybody else is not pulling from. Being able to pull from a well that God has specifically ordained for you, and that's where you continue to fill up at. I think it's very, very dangerous if you get in a place, in a position where you continuously compare to what somebody else is doing and how they're doing it. There's no formula for this thing, right? We're going to talk practical and not necessarily spiritual at this moment. If you're talking about just being in this field, doing music, having the business that go with it, how you see yourself valued, number one, the contribution that you're continuing to give to the world, number two, and number three, not allowing the public to identify and label what and where your value is by likes and comments and shares. All of those different things are good, but they should never be the factor of why you do what it is that you do. Number one, remember, and we're taking it back more spiritual than it is practical right now. Remember that God has called you for a specific thing. God has called you for a specific reason. So all of those other things are undertones and they come with you doing what you're supposed to do, but they should never be the factor in why you do what it is that you called to do. You should always be doing what you're called to do because you were called to do it. And that should be the bottom line of it. I hope that I answered it in full, man. That's a really, really good question. It kind of threw me off, but I think that I got to it, man. So again, thank y'all for joining me for this, man. I'm really enjoying these, man. These are going to get better over time. Again, we're going to upgrade. We're going to grow together. We're going to go through this journey together. But be sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You never know, man, how one of these videos can truly bless somebody that you've been having a conversation with and haven't been able to break through. Bring them on over here to the 7 family, man, and let's get them right. Again, my name is Leezy, a.k.a. better known as Leon Anderson, and this has been another episode of 10 Minutes with Leezy. I pray that y'all continue to be blessed, and I can't wait to share the next episode with y'all. Peace.
God, you get all of the glory forevermore.